1992. Spawn Volume 1, Issue 1 from Image Comics, with the story in pencils and inks by Todd McFarlane. Letters by Tom Orzechowski. Color by Steve Oliff and editor by Wanda, Kolomyjec. So, let's talk about Spawn. When Todd McFarlane left to, create Image with his partners, I think it was a no-brainer that Spawn was going to be the hit. Considering the strong presence that Todd McFarlane had at Marvel, especially with Spider-Man, Spawn was definitely a cool-looking character, cool-looking. What kind of work this would be. So, I've discussed in the past about the emergence of Image Comics and the talent behind the original startup. But if there's one Image Comics book at launch that did remarkably well, we know it's Spawn. Best known for his work on Amazing Spider-Man, and pretty much reaching mega success with even the Spawn toy lines, McFarlane toys, and also they even have a live action movie. Earlier on. But I know he left Spawn around issue 70 to focus on the entire McFarlane empire. I don't know about now. I haven't been following Spawn or McFarlane's career since then. But, at one time he was the co-owner of NHL's Edmonton Oilers and the owner of MLB Baseball, which are significant in various athletes who have broken a record. Writers, including the industry's top writers for issues 8 through 11. But for the first issue alone, it was no doubt a memorable comic book release for the 90s. I mean, look at this artwork. Let me show you this. Not sure if I can get it, but let's see. There we go. Look at that. That's one thing about Todd McFarlane's work. It's just simply magnificent to look at. He puts a lot of effort, especially how he utilizes the colors of reds. It's just very well. You have to thank the inker and also the colorist for that. But they did a great job. The whole team did a phenomenal job with Spawn. Anyway, let's go back to that first issue here. But so the first issue features Spawn trying to remember his past. From the news, we learned about Lieutenant Colonel Al Simmons, who was best known for saving the president during an assassination attempt. But now Lieutenant Colonel Al Simmons is being buried with his wife, Wanda Blake. Well, being buried while his wife, Wanda Blake, is mourning him. Since then, Wanda has moved on, and she's now dating Al's buddy, Martin Alexander, who is the man responsible for introducing Al to Wanda. As Spawn starts to have memories of dying and then making a promise to the devil, he is upset that he was taken advantage of. He was given power, but robbed of his memories, and his entire body looks like a burnt corpse. So he must wear a mask and an outfit, and while many think he's a superhero, he's anything but. He sees a woman about to be raped by a group of men, and he manages to save her, but inside his head, all he can think of is a beautiful woman, not knowing who she is, but remembering a funeral and her face. But Spawn asks, "Who am I?" Meanwhile, serial murders of deaths of major gangsters have occurred throughout the city, who was responsible. So while I purchased Spawn comic books for the coolness factor, I have to admit that finding Spawn issues were not always easy. For one, the title was popular and was often sold out, but also one thing that irked me the most that there were also a lot of issue delays, and with Image Comics, you never know when these comics would arrive back then. So it was tough being an Image supporter and a fan because the delays were just terrible at the time. With that being said, while Spawn issue number 1 will be remembered for the debut of the iconic McFarlane anti-hero, it was an issue remembered more for its artwork versus a storyline, but fortunately the stories became better over time. So that is Spawn issue number 1. Went out to watch the film, bought the action figures earlier on. In fact, I still have some of them, and I think it was who was it? I know it was a clown one. I forgot his name now. And Evangeline, is that her name? Anyway, yeah, Spawn was definitely a cool character, and I'm not sure what has happened to Spawn since then. If they rebooted it or if they, just continued on with its lore, but yeah, that is pretty much it. Spawn issue number 1.